Alright, welcome to Don't Think, Just Charge. Here is the rare occasion where we will think before we charge in. Someone in a comment on one of my videos before asked if I could do like a tutorial for Krita, because I use this when I do want to plan out a colour scheme. And I thought, yeah, my wood elves are taking a little bit longer, so they're not going to be ready by this Sunday. So I thought, why not just do this? It'll be hopefully a quick video. I'm planning to start right from the very start. So if you've never even seen Krita before, it should be good for you. If you're used to illustration, digital illustration, photo editing, stuff like that, some of these will be useful, but you may still find something. You may be better than me, and you may have a suggestion in the comment. You say it, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm so stupid. Why haven't I been doing that? And then I feel like an idiot, but we'll all laugh about it later. When we tell our grandkids over the dinner table, it'll be a fun story. Right then, first of all, if we just Google Krita, we can see we can go to the website here and you can download it. It's totally free. That's why I started with it, because I didn't really want to be spending money when it was just a kind of hobby. I wasn't planning on making money with it when I first started illustrating, and now, force of habit, I'm old, so you know, why wouldn't I just keep using the same old thing? So we can go on that, download, do all the stuff, and then here we are in Krita, and then all we simply want to do is start a new file. I just usually set mine at 2000 or sometimes higher for when I'm drawing and stuff like that. That'll be fine for our purposes right now. So if we just hit create, and there we go, we have a blank canvas. So we have a couple of layers here. The first thing to be aware of, layers, if you've never used anything like this before, you can add loads by doing stuff like this, and then it means that when you're drawing, you just go ba 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 ba, and you can do things. And then if you add something to the drawing and you're like, nope, don't like that bit, you can see how it looks without it. You can maybe go in. It allows you to edit things in a really kind of modular or granular fashion. One of the Eulers. Anyway, so here we go. We've got our thing there. Next, we need the mini. So I have a couple here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to grab two minis here, because they have a few different like styles that I can kind of go from there. So the first one is this one of the blade dancers, wood, I don't know, whatever they're called. I'm using the snipping tool, which I haven't had to download. That's just part of like Windows, I guess. I don't know, I've always used it. I don't really know exactly like where it comes from, but cool. So you do that, it automatically copies it, so you can just now paste, and that comes in, as you can see, as a new layer. So we've got that there, and we'll leave that there for now. That's all good. So now if I just go back, and this is my mini factory. This is just any 3D print you buy, any like physical thing you buy, there should be like a picture of it. Let's just go back into that again. So I think what I'm also going to do is a forest elf ranger. What I would say is, don't worry about using any of your big fancy guys. You can see I had a mage there. He's probably going to be just a bit different, maybe have some fancier colors. Any command, any specialist like elite units, don't worry about them. You want to get an idea of your overall, just your kind of your like base level soldiers. You want to get an idea of what the army looks like altogether, and then once you know that looks good, you can then start adding stuff in. So, and by the time you've done that, you probably don't need to go back to this step. You can probably look at the minis and go, that would look cool with this color on it, for example. So let's just go to new, grab this one, go back into Krita, and if I just paste it back in and then go to the transform tool, and now we can make these changes on these levels. So what I think I'll do is, so the ones at the top are always going to be in front. That's why this is called background, the one that's auto-generated. So if I move the blade dancer on top, you can see now I can just kind of, although she kind of cuts out. Okay, what I'm going to do then, and this is the first little thing, is here I can go to the freehand selection tool. We've got the blade dancer selected. We can check by just clicking the eye. That'll make her invisible. So that's fine. Then if I just basically chop off a load of this background and just simply hit delete. And now if I press Control, Shift and A, that deselects. So now we're back to, because basically if you select something and then go to transform, you're moving just that bit. So you're going to chop the image up. It's going to look really stupid. So now, yeah, that's much better, isn't it? Okay, right, we've got them. I kind of don't need them on separate layers because that's just going to add a load of extra annoyance. So if I go Control E, that merges the layer that you've got selected with the layer just below of it. Just for your information, Control Shift E merges every single layer. It's not something you'd really need, but there you go, you have it now. But here you can see these are all one layer now. What we want to do next is differentiate the background as a layer from the minis as a layer. The reason is when you're coloring things in, when you're using your things to set colors, it's just easier to be able to do a wide kind of coloring arc and not have to worry about carefully going up to the lines. And there's ways we can do that. So let's do contiguous selection tool. What I can do with this, tool options, the threshold is already quite low. If it was high, let's go up to like 15, and I select, say, down here, or where can I select that might show up? Ah, there we go. Right, so that's selected like a whole load of crap. We actually don't want these bits selected. So the threshold is how you do that. In tool options, we can put it right down to like maybe 3, and then hopefully, yeah, there we go. See, that's just picked up all of that. And you can play around with that. And then if I hold Shift and click there, we can just grab everything that isn't a mini. So we can get these bits in between here. Get that bit there. I'm using my mouse wheel to just zoom in and out. That might have been obvious, but in case it wasn't. Again, this is real beginner stuff. So here we go. Right. That's showing the rest of the cloak, so that's fine. I think we've got everything there. Yes, awesome. Okay, now the only other thing are these little relics of the screenshot. If I just go to my freehand or one of the other ones, I find this a bit easier. Hold Shift and just circle the things that I also want to include in the background. Just kind of make sure that everything except the mini is selected here on these layers. You don't need to worry about the white background for now. That is fine. So once I've done that, right click and cut selection to new layer. That will bring a new layer in front, and now if I Control Shift and A to make sure I've not got anything selected, you can see, pow, there we go, we've just got the minis. I'm going to keep the background on there because then they'll give us some good differentiation when we start colouring. And I'm actually also going to just bring the minis up to the upper layer, so they're in front. Just feels a bit weird to have the background set higher than the minis themselves. So there we go. This is kind of how we want to set up. So just to recap, we've downloaded Krita, we've copied and pasted some images of some minis onto a new layer. In fact, why is this guy so much bigger? That's a bit weird. Okay, let's just bring him down to size a little bit. Oh yeah, except I've already done that part. Okay, never mind. He's just going to be bigger then. Cool. And that's what we've got with now. So what you can see, some creators will use some colored lights, and that's all cool and stuff. But for this, we want these to be kind of black and white, so we're starting from a real kind of neutral canvas. And what we can do there with our layer selected, again, if I just press the eye and they disappear, I know that I've got the right layer selected. The other thing is probably you should name your layers as you go. That's a really important thing, especially if you're illustrating and you end up with like 40 layers. You need to know which each thing is. But, you know, I'm lazy and disorganized, so this is my workflow. Don't judge me. I'm used to it. So, filter. We want to go to adjust and then desaturate. And here you can see very nicely that just turns it all into grayscale. We don't need to really worry about that. Just hit OK. And then there we go. These now are perfectly set for us to be able to do some color schemes. So the next thing we need is some copies of this, because as I showed in my last video where I ended up with a color scheme that looked awesome but kind of like the guy was wearing a Christmas jumper, go check that out if you want to see some fancy giant stag spirit wearing a tree jumper. Pretty cool. We want to make sure we've got a few of these layers, and we can do this by just clicking Control and J. Might be something different if you decide to use like Photoshop or something, but in Krita, Control J, and we can just make a few copies of those, and then we can click the eye to make them just disappear for now. We'll use them later on. And as you can see, if I've got one selected that's not visible right now, it won't let me do anything with it. So there's no way you can accidentally kind of deform it, draw over it, anything like that. It's perfectly set there. And now we're ready. So what I'm actually going to do, normally you can add a layer by pressing the plus. If you have a layer selected, you'll add one just above it, but I'm actually just going to grab this for neatness. So That's the layer that we started with. And now there's a way we want to do this that's going to allow us to just color in the minis. And what that is, if you hold shift and click the layer below it, then right click and group, go to quick group, and those have been put in a group. And now, two important things. We want to lock this layer. What that means is if we've got this selected by accident and we select a pen, we can't actually do anything. So many years, any of my fellow like illustrators, like photo editors, anything like that, might be able to tell me, would be able to agree, the amount of heartache that using the wrong layer can cause. You color something in, you're not too sure, you're like, maybe. You go to get rid of the layer with that on just to see if it looked better before. You realize you've screwed the whole picture up because you've colored over some of your line art, something like that. It's a whole mess. Don't do it. So we're locking this layer, and now we can't adjust anything on that, and that's going to stay as it is. The next thing we want to do is this setting here, which is inherit alpha. Now, as this is a ground up thing, alpha is the channel that has nothing on it effectively, so it makes it see-through. So if I get rid of the background here, you can see there's some checks, and I think it's the same in like Photoshop and other drawing or editing programs. That basically means that this canvas has parts of it that are see-through. If you were to export that now as like a certain, I think PNG does it, JPEG I don't think does, I think that would just fill that in as white. But if you were to export a PNG, like say you did it like this and exported it, that PNG would literally just contain the information for that. Not super important about all of that stuff, but what you need to know is inherit alpha, when it's in a group, means that all it's going to do is color over the other stuff that's in a group. So if I just go here, select my paint layer, and now if I just pick, let's just grab a nice weird color, I can go like that, and it's not going to adjust my background. If that wasn't in a group and it was out there, then that would color over the whole thing, and that's going to be important when we do start to colorize things. So now that we have that, we need to put some color down, and there are a few different ways we can use this. The very first one is color. Now what color does is it takes the light dark values from everything below and then just changes the actual hue of this. So like messing around with the lightness and darkness here isn't really going to make a difference. I don't know why that's lagging so much. It's a bit annoying. Maybe it's because I'm recording. Really, the main thing that it's going to change is around here, and we can go like that, and you can see it keeps the same information in terms of light and dark, but it changes it to a color. What I'm thinking is I want to do like a dark kind of Mediterranean skin tone, because like, I don't know, like a lot of fantasy and a lot of mini painting especially, it's all just white skin tones. It's all variations on, like, sometimes you get evil people and they're pale and stuff, and then there's all the problematic drow stuff. You can see I've picked like a nice dark brown because I want to try a Mediterranean skin tone and play around with that, but it's not really, it hasn't changed because the grayscale is so light beneath it, and it's not taking any darkness or lightness into account. All it's doing is changing the hue. That hasn't done anything. So one other one that's really good to use is burn, and that's obviously gone way too far, but what that does is, actually, I don't know specifically what that does. It kind of just, I guess, darkens areas with things, and like, I don't really know. Probably don't ask me such hard questions. But I know that if something's quite a lot darker, it doesn't pick it up very well. So we can kind of play around with that. And we've got the size up here. Let's go to that. If we want to get rid of stuff, we can erase it. So maybe I want to just actually see how it looks, and I can start doing that. Let's just pop the size up a bit, just so that I'm not here for 3 days straight. Get rid of the hair coloring. And now I've got kind of a rough idea of, but that's maybe a bit too a bit too red maybe. Now another good thing is, if I've only got this and I just want to change that color, I can do this, which is locks the alpha. So now if that's locked, this won't color over anything on its own layer except for what's already there. So if I just change the color, make the brush big, and then like that, yeah, that's a bit better actually. I'm not too sad about it, to be honest. Yeah, there we go. Right, maybe it's a bit shiny, like these shiny parts are a little bit too yellow. Let's just unlock that so I can color in some more now. But as you can see, that is quite good for maybe making it a bit darker when you do that. So in my last video, I did some tree spirits. Oh, now I'm just clicking all over the place. In my last video, I did some tree spirits, and I'm trying to keep these. These are all my wood elves, so the elves I do want to be kind of a similar colour. Right, why is that not? Okay, there we go. Cool. So this just gives me like reference. If you've got your brush selected and you hold control, it'll give you a dropper, so I could go like, oh, I want this nice dark red to kind of get an idea. The only thing to be a little bit wary of is you're not going to get this exact color if you're on a burn or color layer, because it's not actually taking the pure color, it's interacting with the layers below it. So the other thing that is fairly useful, and also all of these have different ways of doing it. You can use lighten to get rid of some of the shadows, for example. If you wanted more color in the shadows, say I wanted to give these a cool blue shadow, I could go like that. Oh, also got to inherit alpha, and then look, I've given them like a weird thing. So if I just go back and actually go to lighten, no, not that. Luminosity kind of changes. Oh, definitely not that. But as you can see, I don't really know exactly what each color is going to do before I do it. Overlay does something else. Multiply is quite a good one when you've got multiple colors, because it takes both colors into account. Effectively, you've got the hex number of each thing. It multiplies those colors together, so it effectively creates a product that's darker than the product of both colors, but like kind of takes both of them into account. It's hard to explain. I don't know. It does. All you need to know is that multiply is quite good for like mixing together colors and creating that kind of thing. So I think I'm going to leave that on burn for now. But what I'm going to do is then create another layer with color, and possibly just make like a very slight bluey tint to the stuff that's going to be, because I'm thinking the hard materials. Oh, okay. Always remember to do that. The hard materials are going to be this kind of, you see, like I've done all the birch. I think they're going to maybe use, that's like what they use for their equipment. So maybe we just straight away smash a load of this down. They're boots, so they're not really going to be that, but... And here we go, we've got like, so let's just throw that on the horn, the armor, he's got a lot of armor. So maybe his is this kind of quite cool white thing. And let's just kind of be clear here that this is not going to give you a really, really good idea of like precisely what it looks like. This kind of looks very simplified and a little bit garbage right now. We'll sort it out a little bit, but this isn't to get an idea of a fully finished product. If we want to do that, we have to probably like go onto Photoshop, learn some proper stuff. But for our purposes here, all we really need to do is basically just get a good idea of how the colors look together. Now again, I want like a dark, cool or autumnal red, and color, because it's not taking it's only taking the hue into account, not the lightness, and that grey is quite light already. It's making this a much lighter version of that red. So if I Control Z and then go back to maybe my burn layer, let's see. Oh, I've still got that alpha locked, so as you can see, that won't do anything there. What have I... Why is my burn layer doing that? No, because it's gone way too dark. Let's just grab a bit of a... yeah, because I was doing that. Right, let's move this kind of out of the way. He has leaves there. Obviously, they're going to be that color. And again, like over time, maybe I'll add in those yellow, but maybe I'll do it on the mini. Maybe I'll do it here to look. I know that it looks quite good on those, so I'm at a bit of an advantage here where I've already kind of done that. So let's give them this glorious bronze skin tone. And then, is he wearing gloves? Let's make the hands. Oh, well, I've already coloured them in white now, but okay. And then maybe we do use the colour layer to do some kind of, oh yeah, that's kind of cool actually. So we've got some fabric here. Maybe actually that's what colour the gloves are. Yeah, oh, this is looking cool. Yeah, happy with this. Right, and then maybe the dancers, yeah, they can have like a... And then we've got a bit of an idea, and now, like, okay, so on the burn layer, I can give this a skin tone because that's clearly bare skin. Maybe we add another like orangey thing for the color layer and put that there. That's maybe a bit bright and just kind of flat, a bit like pale or something, but it gives us a little something to work with. And then the other thing we can do here, if I add a new layer, so press my little plus thing there, alpha, inherit alpha, and then what I can do is I can actually, well, I mean, you can just keep them normal, and then say I wanted to check out this in a like darker thing, and I wasn't really sure how to do the multiply effect and stuff like that. What I can do is just select the actual color and just go, right, here's what I want to do, make that more of a browny color as it goes down, and then kind of lighten it up towards the top. And obviously this is going to kind of override the actual detail, but as you can see, you get just some kind of indication of what that's going to look like, and then you can make it visible or not, and actually that's kind of desaturated it and made it look possibly even worse. But you can also play around with the opacity, and then maybe that, yeah, so that's now a little bit better. It's taken out that garish orange. And this is kind of where I would leave it. I mean, like, what you can do is on the color layer, where are we? You can maybe just add a load of green just so that you've then got, like with the bases done, or well, not really done, but it gives you like a bit of, what's the word here? Like a bit of context for the thing, and then maybe I want to add a bit of brown as well, like a dark brown to that. Again, it's not going to take the dark into account. But yeah, so you've got a bit of a thing and you can see what they'll look like. And yeah, that's okay. Maybe the hair needs to be a different color. Maybe we'll come back to it. But so this is where it comes in handy to have them grouped and stuff like that. I want to try a different one and see what I can get. So I'm going to collapse this group and get rid of it, and boop, just like that, it's as if it never happened. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing, add a layer, hit shift and select it just to create the first initial group part, then lock this initial layer, this one here, then inherit alpha here so that it won't color over the background. And here I am, and I might just play around with the colorings. Maybe I will make some pale people, see how they look. Maybe try some more darker colors on everything. But yeah, I'm just going to go through it now, do it as a time lapse, and then we'll see what we come up with at the end. So yeah. At this point, I will also mention the good practice to get into for this. Let's just make that inherit alpha. Is to do kind of new layers for the majority of stuff you're doing. It just means that if you want to change something, all you have to do is get rid of it like that, press the I to make it not visible, do another one, and then you can kind of go back and forth to compare. Like you can turn one off, then the next one on, turn that one off, and just keep going back until you get an idea of which one you like better. So as you can see, I've done like the skin, the kind of darker, like metallic-y bits, everything's on a different layer, so that's kind of a way to do that. And as you can see again, I tend to just do my thing. I mean, I haven't done it on normal yet, this is a bit of a weird example, but do my thing and then just, yeah, like, how does it look under burn? Kind of like a bit shiny maybe, because it's made all those colors really dark. Dark color definitely isn't good. Maybe multiply. Yeah, see, so now, oh, that's looking awesome actually. So then I can do all the red. Maybe he has a cloak here, and yeah. Okay, so here's another tip that I can give you here. Sometimes you might want to grab a color from before and you're not sure where it is. So you got your historic colors along the side here, but like you don't really know where that is. Now, if you were to just color grab, so hold control and go there. If you were to just color grab from that, you're not actually selecting the pure color that you've done over this. You're selecting the kind of the individual pixel of color based on the layers that are interacting and how they're interacting with each other. So if I was to just go from here and go onto this layer and try and color in the next thing, it would interact weirdly. It would go onto a multiply layer or burn layer, whatever I've made it, and it would just look a little bit weird. So the best way to do it, and this is what I want to do, I'm trying to grab this one, is to just remember what this is. So it's on a multiply, turn it back to normal for now, and then you've just got the flat color. So now you know you've got the exact right color. Then turn it back to multiply. And now I can add that color back in. Okay, here's another bit of advice that I can give you just in the general operation of this thing. Here you can see if I turn this, so it was on overlay, if I turn it back to normal, you can see that I've put two different colors that I kind of need at different levels. So an easy way to separate these out into their own layers is select the same color selector and then just click on one of them, and here you can see it just grabs everything that's that brown. And now again we just select, okay, do the thing. Why are you not doing the thing? And we cut to new layer, and then just control shift A to deselect everything. And now I can turn these back on to, what did I have it on? Overlay. I think I had it on overlay. So both of these can go back to overlay, and then I can change what I need to. So the white I want, oh no, wrong thing. Go back. So was this the white? Yeah, the white I wanted a little less crazy, and then that's fine like that. So there we go. Okay, that's given me some stuff to think about, and hopefully that's got you just an idea of the ground level process that you can use. And like, okay, look, I know that like Vogue are never calling me to edit their front cover with these skills. Like, this isn't something that you can be like, you know, it's just a personal thing. You can get an idea of how an army looks, and it should be just that little bit useful for you. So, like, you know, there's just some stuff to think about there. We've got this one with the nice armor. We've got this one with the kind of muted tones. Just a few. Oh, wrong thing. Let's just put that at the top there. And then finally, oh, I do like that dark skin tone. Maybe there's a bit more to this one to change because there's a lot of that bluey grey there. Give that some thought because I'm still doing the video. So hopefully this has been useful. If it has, please drop a like and a subscribe and check out all the other socials and everything like that. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a quick video here, but I hope you enjoyed it really. So yeah, bye.